And this is the shapes are very solid. And in this picture, years later, I was contemplating, realizing, it's all very well I did it this way, but I realized that I need to make paradise more mystical, more shrouded in mist. And that's how I came to the second picture of paradise. And this here is called The Journey. And I used the same mountains, because I did this picture in 2011, I did The Journey about 2 years ago. This I did for 2011, I did 2012, actually a year after this. And again, this picture is just a journey, it's called The Journey. And again, you're going through this long series of mountains to strive towards the light. So it's very simple.
I love how that just erupts out of it. It's amazing. I love the vibrancy of how you use the yellow and the orange and the red and then the swirls in between. It's unbelievable. It's amazing how much time we wasted in the academic world.
Well, I don't think it was for nothing. I I feel like I have to.
So I kept telling my children, forget it. If you don't got it and you don't want to get it, get out. It's like it's a waste of time. If you're motivated by something else.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I think that if I hadn't gone through that, I would not have been certain when I did finally get to my art. Because even though when I got to my art, I was always thinking, am I doing the right thing? Where am I going with this? Is this going to ever become anything? All I had to do was stop and think and realize, wait a minute.
It is.
I tried it. It didn't work. So it helps me to move forward and to do what I'm doing now.
Reconfirm.
Yeah, and besides, I've been able to do my publication, and I'm sure whatever I learned there helps me. Even though it takes me a long time to write my thoughts they come together, but not quickly. It is like a compilation of years or a compilation of thoughts coming together to produce a seed of thoughts.
It's better.
Yeah.
Because we're in this rush,
Yeah.
getting on, and we miss so much along the way when we're in that mindset. And that mindset of quickness sometimes doesn't really pan out.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely agree. Well, for this picture here, this is called Scream. This I did about the same time when I had done the Menace. So you can see that the tree things going on here. Again, I was kind of going through a difficult period in my own life. I was going through a lot of depression. I was just frustrated with my life. I'm just, wanting a partner in life, and it just wasn't working out. I was just going through disappointment, and so I was sort of expressing my anxiety, my pain through these red trees, these gnarly trees that twisting and turning in pain. That's what I call the picture the scream.
The screen.
Yeah.
I love the frame.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And this picture here is the crucifixion. Actually, I did this the same time I did the very first black and white that you saw, the creation of light. At the same time here, we had all the different small little copies of pictures, photographs to take shapes from to create this image.
That's all charcoal.
Yes, exactly, charcoal. Yes. And this picture here is called Tana. I had done a few versions of this before, very different. But again, I'm just sort of playing with shapes. This is taken from the old city of Tana. These red roofs, and I'm just trying to experiment. How can I work with shapes and what can I do with it? And so I would take the houses and I take the steeples, and have this upward striving, and have this contemporary sort of kind of cubistic architecture striding up. And this is just an experiment for me.
It almost could look like the illumination is coming from down low, but it also can look like it's coming like through cracks from on top down.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And this picture here, let me remove this maybe so I can see it better. This picture here is called Hope. I did this in 2011. Actually, I started it when I was in Estonia, in Tallinn itself. And it's called Hope because you have two different kinds of worlds that you can see here. You have the world of basically destruction, dark, and falling apart, ruining, and almost kind of like a hopelessness. You can see in today's life, you see why all these different people have all these great utopian ideas of how the world can be made perfect, how it can be made great, and all those ideas, all those are for nothing because as a human being, our nature as human beings are corrupt. And so whatever we do, because this world is corrupt, this world cannot carry that joy that we desperately are seeking and need. So instead there is this hope beyond that world, the idea again of heaven, that God has something in mind for us. God has something for us that He wants to bless us with. And so this is basically two worlds together, a contrast of the now that is hopeless and the coming, the eternal hope and light. Next picture here, this is called Striving for Glory. I've done a few versions of these. This is my last version, which I did in 2011. My first version I did was bigger. I did it in 2008. Literally, just when I moved back from Moscow, Russia. And the inspiration of doing this picture was when I was in Moscow, again, there was so much activity, so much construction, and the idea of this picture is that there's this enormous striving for this man-made glory, kind of Tower of Babel, and you have all the activity going on down beneath, making that happen. All the smog and the bad air, and that people are oppressed by this. And so there's this intense brushstrokes here, which is kind of reflects the spirit of the world. And again, it's the first picture here, picture called Origins. And it's a very basic idea that just some fancy came up with, that you have the world starts in the ground, and you have plants growing up. And all man's creations come from nature and restricted within the laws of nature. And so I just call it Origins because all man's creation comes from the earth and goes up to man's creation. And these two pictures here, this is called Trapped and called Freedom. And the idea, for me, it meant a lot. Again, very, very part of my life, I was entrapped in insecurity, uncertainty about where my life is going. I felt stuck. And then this is my spiritual freedom going into the light. And also finding my artistic expression. And here, similar. This is called a triptych. And the idea of this picture was like these are two angels, as these are. And this is 2006. Two angels and Mary, and the symbol of the leaf is Jesus. And it's a very kind of abstract way of, without portraying human beings. We're sort of representing, it's sort of like a silhouette, like a basic shape of a mother's body holding a child. And about 6 years later, I did these two angels, made them even more swirling, more liquid, more fluid. A fluid of very complex colors. And so to make them more cosmic fluid. And sort of dematerialize them even further. It took about 6 months to do these two paintings. And it took about 6 months to actually build the frames. And so
yeah, I love the art. It's just amazing. So I'm sorry, what was the time separation?
6 years. I did this in 2006. This is when I still pretty new with my painting. I did this 6 years afterwards. And so, having matured enough, I was able to evolve. I realized it's all very well to have single brush strokes like that. I realized I need to have a communication of colors. Colors communicate. Colors communicate by having, for instance, you have a warm color, and between that and what you have a colder color. So you have like this kind of dialogue within a painting. And that's what creates this lively discussion. And then you can almost feel like as if there are people, if you look at this, you can almost sense that there's like a city, there's a whole universe in this because of how colors are vibrating within themselves. And this is Birth of Burning Ocean. Again, this is one of my more earlier paintings. I wanted to, I just was trying to discover ways of how I can express different biblical themes at this point. And the idea of this is why I have, for instance, the atmosphere of the broken lines, as opposed to the natural blue sky or not, unnatural for the sky, is I want to create an atmosphere of supernatural, And that's, at the time I was sort of intuitively, not really understanding what I was doing, but the product is, you have this enclosed square where you have this world of a supernatural vision of God appearing, in this case, to Moses, but this is like God encapsulated in this vision. There are actually a number of pictures in the hall.
I was looking at those in
Yes.
the restaurant.
Yes. In the restaurant, for instance, I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but there's a third paradise that I did actually even more recently. Too bad you can't see it from here, but anyways. And I also have on the other side of the restaurant hallway, the black and white pictures that I did in 2003 when I was the first summer in Estonia. And I was thrilled to be drawing old city walls and the old buildings, and there's an old gate that I loved. I spent hours, and I did a few different versions of that. Went to a few other places in Estonia. There's an old ancient ruin. I did a drawing of that. It's like an arc, and you see the ruins through that. And another place is that ruined castle that I drew. And that was the very beginning of my artistic career. So I was very excited about that. I felt like a newborn child doing that.
So I am totally inspired by your work. I find it breathtaking. I think it's absolutely breathtaking. And I just hope that you don't stop. The visions and of course the emotions and the inspiration that you're stemming from, which is from God, which is the ultimate source of our inspiration. And it obviously reflects your work, and it's magnificent. You know, I know you're a very humble man, but it's magnificent. And I do a lot of art galleries, and I have to tell you, it really represents something very, very, very magnificent because it's obviously inspired by God. So where do are you still working on artwork?
Yes, I am. I do have a few pictures, and I'm working on those.
Well, we're hoping that you will come down to the Good Purpose Gallery in Lee for the next 2 months to come and experience Dimitri Freud's artwork. I'm Krista Jan Ryan. I am your host for Artists in the Berkshires, where we bring to you artists whose vision has made an impact in the art world. Please come and join us down here. You will not be disappointed. Take care and God bless.
Thank you.